Today we will start the auxiliary equipment. This is for the 5th semester diploma electrical students, and in this class we will understand the different parts associated with the traction system. So a traction system comprises of the following equipment apart from the driving motors. So the first one is your overhead conductors for track electrification. The overhead system is used with DC tramways, trolley buses, and locomotives, and also with AC locomotives. The track is used as the return conductor. The voltage of the overhead system is 600 volt and above. For tramways and trolley buses, the trolley wire is of the section shown in the diagram 9.26, and a typical trolley collector wheel is as in the diagram 9.27. So let us check the diagram first, 9.26 and 27. So as you can see, the trolley wire, it is its section view or the section of a trolley wire. The next figure, that is 9.27, is a collector wheel and trolley wire. The trolley collector is used up to speeds of about 32 km per hour. As beyond this speed, there is every possibility of the wheel jumping off the trolley wire. Now the bow collector consists of light metal strip pressing against the trolley wire, and the framework is mounted on the roof of the car. There is no possibility of its jumping off the trolley wire. So students, why there is no possibility that it will jump from its own position? Because of its design. It has been made in such a design that it will never jump from its position. The overhead conductor designed for the current carrying capacity as per load requirement on the system are mounted on the pole, usually 100 meters apart. The conductors are supported on a crossarm arranged to a point midway above the track. Now the pantograph. This is a very vital part of a traction system. The pantograph collector is used where the vehicles run at high speeds, that is in the railways, and where current to be collected are as large as 2000 to 3000 rpm. Just imagine, 2000 to 3000 rpm is very high amount of current, because in our household, in your switches and your normal sockets, we usually use 5 amperes, and for power sockets, the current is from say 15 ampere, or it is all those current which we require in our household is below 20 amperes for normal users. There are special cases, but as compared to this current which is drawn by your pantograph, which is of the order 3000 amperes, so just imagine how much higher is this current. The pantograph is mounted on a framework which can be raised or lowered by compressed air or spring. Compressed air for raising is normally used, and the diagram is in the diagram, that is 9.21. So you can see that it is using the compressed, by the using of compression, this tension is there. So one thing must be striking in your mind, that why there should be a I mean compressing force required in this system. So students, one thing you should always remember, that in electricity the contact should be always very tight. The electrical connection, especially if it will be for any reason will get loose, then it will create severe problems in your power circuits. Also, loose circuits may burn out the electrical installation, and thereby burning the houses and the the structures also. So in train or your pantograph, which is associated with your traction system, it is associated with a current, as I told, 2000 to 3000 ampere, which is quite a dangerous high value. And with this kind of dangerous high current, if it will be associated with loose connection, that is, this pantograph is connected very loosely, what will happen, it will catch fire and automatically the whole thing will be burnt out. So we should avoid any loose connection in electricity. And here also the pantograph is raised, and by the help of your compressed air or spring, which is here in this case compressed air is used for raising. And normally they are very high pressures are used so that the contact will be perfect. A flexible arrangement of the shape of a pantograph is provided above the locomotive, which makes the contact with the overhead conductor. It has flexible, it is flexible in operation so that it makes a firm contact with the conductor, and at the same time does not have wear and tear, and avoids arcing between the conductors and the receiving joints. So if there will be wear and tear also, this will be maintained or it will be replaced, because those things can be dangerous. So those things are avoided in your maintenance section. They are thoroughly checked, and after that only they are allowed to travel or conduct electricity. Now the third point is transformer or auto transformer. Depending upon the system of electrification used as described earlier, there are generally provided with tap changing devices as well. So this transformer, which is usually a auto transformer, is used for stepping down and stepping up the voltages. Usually they are on load tap changers. They are generally provided with tap changing devices as well. Now the rectifier unit. Now we have already discussed that the motor used in traction system can be DC series motor, or if it is AC, then AC induction motors. Now for running this DC series motor, we require a rectifying unit. So here also exactly we require a rectifying unit or rectifier unit. For AC systems using DC motors, for traction metal rectifiers are generally used. So these metal rectifiers are used. This one, metal rectifiers are used for converting AC into DC. They are available in large sizes as well these days. They require little maintenance and are generally preferred for this reason. Driving axles and gear arrangement. The driving motors are connected to the driving axle through a gear arrangement. The usual ratios are being 4 is to 1 or 6 is to 1. Now, train lighting. The usual method of providing lights and fans in the trains is for Rosenberg generator, which is essentially a low voltage DC generator having a characteristics that the voltage generated is almost independent of the speed of the generator. Thus, varied speed variation in the train do not affect the output voltage. Even the reversal of the speed has almost no effect on the generated voltage, thus, it is essential a constant voltage generator. Now, the generator is coupled to the driving wheels of the locomotive. When the train is at rest, the supply circuit get automatically switched on to set off batteries provided underneath the carriages. In normal running, the battery supply gets disconnected and the generator takes up the load. Usually the generator is connected so to feed the batteries and continues to charge them with the train as in motion. In some cases, the supply for train lighting is taken actually from the batteries, and the generator merely serves to keep charge. However, in most cases, generator accomplish both the duties, that is supply for train lighting while running as well. The charging the batteries so that the supply can be drawn from them while the train is at rest. Now let us discuss about the multiple control. An electric train comprises of a number of units. Such unit comprise of a motor coach, passenger coach, or goods wagon. The number of units depends on the intensity of the traffic of the line. The motor coach comprises of the motor traction motor, the driving axis, control gear, and protective equipment. Many trains have more than one motor coach instead of an electric locomotive. There are two or four motors in each coach, which increases the adhesive weight of the train, consequently developing greater tractive effort. However, their control gets more complicated. Generally, a multiple unit control is incorporated, whereby it is possible to control all the motors from one motor coach. So, students, that's all for today's class. We will continue for this conductor rails and other thing associated with your traction motors and your traction systems. We will also discuss the general features in our next class. So, thank you, students, for watching.